Good morning. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Making Sense of Online Marketing. Today, we're going to cover the basics of online marketing, including how customers find you online, how to set yourself up for success, and then how to build that repeat business. And then we're going to give you kind of a little checklist that we'll send to you later so that you can evaluate where your business is today and the steps that you can take going forward to make your online marketing a success. So I'm Dixie. My co-host is Katrine. She's the CEO and founder of Easy Marketing. We have a lot of great information to share with you today, and we hope to get to as many of your questions as we can. But if we missed your question or if you think of something later, here's our contact information. We would love to hear from you. And if you click Katrine, it'll show our YouTube channel where we post monthly videos similar to this with helpful topics for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and nonprofits. So we invite you to subscribe to that, and we'd love to see you there. So as we dive right into our topic, we want to know something about our audience. So if you can, tell us in the chat, what kind of online marketing tools are you using? So do you have a website? Are you using email marketing? Are you using social media? We'd like for this to be interactive as possible, so go ahead and use your little chat there to let us know, and that'll help us throughout the presentation. If you are intimidated by online marketing, you're not alone. We get it. It's not always intuitive, but it is a big opportunity for your business. If you're like most of our clients, we know that you're busy trying to run your small business, wearing many different hats, and you don't have time to learn or keep up with the latest tools. You're sort of marketers by, business owners by trade and marketers by necessity. So our goal today is to share some of the fundamentals of marketing and how all those different pieces work together. And really, we want to help you make the best use of your time and get real results for your business. So let's look at a few statistics. If you're on the fence, wondering if you should devote time and resources to online marketing, the answer is yes, because that's where your customers are looking. 69% of people search online for a local business every month. And not only are these businesses getting discovered online by potential customers, but they are experiencing significant growth. So in the next slide, you'll see that 45% of small businesses don't have a website. And that's unfortunate because that's a great marketing tool. When you don't have a website, there's a lot of missed opportunity, a lot of lost revenue. So next slide. Why aren't more small businesses online? In 2023, what is holding us back? So on the next slide, let's look at that a little bit. 4 out of 10 don't think that online tools are relevant. More than a third aren't convinced that they're effective. But the biggest chunk simply don't have enough experience with digital tools and don't have the time to learn. The good news is that you're here today, and we're positive that with a better understanding of online marketing and a dose of confidence that you can make informed decisions about where to spend your valuable time and resources to help your business grow. So looking at the agenda, here's how we're going to break down kind of 5 different steps to online marketing. We're going to cover how people find you online, how to set yourself up for success, and then how to encourage new and repeat business. So those are our 3 topics for today. All right, moving on to the next slide. Katrine, I think you're going to start talking about how people find us online.
Yes, so if people can't find your business online when they're looking, does your business really exist? That is kind of the question here, because businesses, people are using their smartphones and their computer to check out, to find information and check you out. It's one thing with the customers you already have, but if you ever are looking for new people to be your clients or your customers, then you really need to be online. So we're going to take a look. Today we're looking at the Google here, because Google is by far the biggest search engine out there, but there are others. But I always suggest set up everything so you are on Google, and then you can take the next step. So just go in and Google yourself and see what actually shows up. So just put in your business in the Google search and see do you come up. And this is probably what you're going to find out. In this case, we actually are looking at Constant Contact. So what is on this page? The very first thing on top, it's actually, you can see that little green thing, it says an ad. So not only are they the company that comes up as an organic result below, but they even paid to be up on top. Because remember, you can actually go in and pay and say, I want to have an ad every time someone says MailChimp, for example. So the first one is a paid ad, and the other one is the organic result. And to the right is the Google Business Profile. We're going to look at that a little bit later. And then further down on the page, if we scroll down, what comes up here is what Google is finding about your business. And in this case, the first thing that comes up is actually YouTube, and a couple of steps further down is Facebook. So to exist on those places are always going to get you a good ranking, especially if you have a company name that is unique. And then you have reviews. Reviews are very important. Google find that someone's searching for your company, that's what they are looking for, that's what they want to see, that's why that's coming up next. So next thing, what's happening, a lot of people are using the term near me. So let's say you are searching for a cheese shop near me. What then will come up will be a map of the location where you are right now, your local, and then it's going to be a list of cheese shops coming up from that area. You can see the red little dots. And depending on where you end up on that list has to do with who is closest to you, but also if the listing has good information, updated information, a lot of reviews, that's what's going to happen. In the next case, if you instead do cheese shop and then you put the name of the cheese shop here, which is Concord Cheese Shop, what's going to come up then is you have the listing to the left, and you can see that their cheese shop is the first one comes up. They don't have any paid ads. To the right is what we call a Google Business Profile. Anyone that has a brick and mortar company, or if you are service a special area, you are allowed to set up a Google Business Profile. And you can see here, you can set up images. This is where you collect reviews. This is where you have the open hours, the phone number, a link to your website. It doesn't cost anything to do a Google Business Profile page. You can go in and it's for free. If you need help here at DC Marketing, we do that all the time. The only thing I'm telling you, if you go in and set this up, you as the owner should go in and do that with your email address. Do not have someone else go in and create that account, because the account is connected to the person setting it up. And sometimes if you never set it, you have the option, there will be a line there, is this your business? Click here, and you click, and then you need to verify that the business is yours. So you need to make sure that you can be found online and that all the information there is accurate.
Thank you, Katrine. So now that we have a good understanding of the different ways that people find us online, what can you do to make sure that you have a strong foundation in place? So let's talk about some tools you should use and some tips to get you started. So next slide. Every business is different, but there are 5 online marketing tools that we recommend to help your business be successful. And we're going to talk about each one of these in turn, but they're the website, an email marketing tool, at least one social media channel, an up-to-date business listing such as the Google business profile, and an easy way to create content. So first and foremost is your website. This is your online hub. Everything else that you do digitally, your email, your social media, is all going to point back to your website. So it's essential that you have one and that you get it done right. So step number one is to make sure that your website is mobile responsive, which means that when customers visit, the website is going to recognize whether they're doing it from a desktop or a mobile device of some kind, and adapt the navigation and the image sides and the other elements accordingly. Nothing screams, I don't know what I'm doing, like a website that's not mobile friendly and people kind of have to keep scrolling to the right to see all of the content. More than a third of online conversions and sales are made these days on a mobile device. So you have to consider how your website works and looks on that tiny 3-inch screen. Next, we want to talk about your domain name. That's this unique name that identifies a website. It's domain names are formed by rules from the DNS, the domain name system. So any name registered in that is a domain name. And you want to purchase this. It's not too expensive. You want to do it from a reputable place like GoDaddy or Microsoft or Google. And make sure that you own your own domain and that you have access to it. So if someone else is setting that up for you, that's something that you want to make sure you have. And make sure that you're getting an email address to go with it. So if our domain is easymarketing.com, and if you email me, it would be Dixie@easymarketing.com, not Dixie at Google or Yahoo or any of those. You want those to match. Next, we want to talk about, once you have that mobile responsive website established, email marketing is probably the next thing you want to think about in your online marketing journey. That's because email is still ranked as the most effective marketing channel. Like your website, it's an asset that you own, so all the contacts are yours. And if you're doing it right, subscribers are people who have opted in and said, yes, I want to hear from you. Your email marketing and your website are going to work together hand in hand. So for example, you can use your website to collect email addresses. You can have a contact form or a pop-up where you collect those email addresses. And then of course, when you send out emails, you're going to give little snippets of information so it's not too long, and then direct them back to the website for more details. So those really work together. Next, you can see what our opt-in looks like. So if you visit our website, you're going to see this pop up. And if you click Katrine, you can also use your phone to scan the QR code or type the URL into your browser. So feel free to copy some of the wording that you see here if you're not sure what to do about consent or opt-ins, and we'd love to have you sign up to ours. We send out emails typically no more than once or twice a month. We tell you about free upcoming webinars like this. They're not salesy or intrusive. We have a lot of good topics that you can learn from, so we'd love to keep in touch.
Yeah, and there's like a QR code. You can have that on the back of your business card, or you can have that at the front desk, and people just scan it. They end up at this landing page where they can sign up and get information from you.
Absolutely. So as people are joining your email list, you want to contact them right away with a welcome email or a short welcome series. And this kind of sets the tone for future communications. It lets them know what to expect and helps them possibly connect to other resources you might have, like your social media channel or things on your website that could be useful, like frequently asked questions or a how-to video. Like any relationship, it needs to be nurtured, so plan on sending at least one email a month, and make sure that you have a good combination of your salesy things, like promotions, but also helpful resources that are of value to the customer. So it could be, tips on how to use the product or service, some little how-tos, frequently asked questions, short videos, whatever customers are calling you, asking about most. Those are great things that can provide content. So the next one we want you to consider is social media. You should claim your business name on all the social media channels, even if you're not planning to use them right away. But don't think that you have to be everywhere. There's a lot of different options. Ideally, you're going to choose one primary channel that makes sense for your business based on your customers. So for you, it might be Facebook. For somebody else, it might be Instagram. Definitely, if you're like a business to business, probably LinkedIn. Understand that each channel has its own personality, so you don't necessarily need to post the same thing across all channels. If you're using multiple ones, you want to have the same theme, the same information, but sort of modify it to suit the channel. And your goal should be, again, to bring people back to your website and to get them on your email list. So our next webinar that we're going to have next month is solely devoted to social media. We'll be talking there more in depth about these topics, so I invite you back for that. On the next slide, I do talk a little bit about some of the top platforms and some decision points there. So Facebook is a great kind of starter business page for most companies and nonprofits. It's the biggest, it's widely used by a bunch of demographics. So if you're not sure which platform to go, Facebook is probably a safe bet. LinkedIn is good for business and personal pages. Here it's more of a professional network, so we don't want to see pictures of your kids at the swimming pool. We want to keep it highly professional. You kind of want to show what you know, who you know, and show your expertise. Instagram is good for companies with a highly visual story to tell. So if you have food, if you're in travel, that kind of thing, you may want to consider Instagram. X, formerly known as Twitter, is more of a public what's happening now news feed. They're in a little turmoil right now, but it is still a very good platform for certain kinds of businesses, although it is very fast. So it's going to take a lot of effort on your part to keep up with that. Pinterest is great if you have boards of like tips and ideas. So say if you're an interior decorator, for example, you probably want to be on Pinterest. And YouTube is great for everyone. We highly recommend it because you can put, again, those short kind of how-to videos, educational videos, even a little entertaining. They're great for all kinds of businesses and nonprofits. Next, again, what we see is organizations using exactly the same copy across multiple platforms, and that's something that you don't necessarily want to do. You want to give the same information, but you want to speak in a different way. So I'll give you an example. On Instagram, it's a mobile first platform, so it's made for images. And because of that, the only place that you can click on a link is in the bio. So if you're trying to get people to click on a link to sign up, to register, to donate, whatever, Instagram is not the best place for that. You might want to go with like Facebook because you can put it right there in the caption. People can click on it and do that instantly. So when you educate yourself and you know a little bit more about how each platform works, then you can figure out what to put on there. LinkedIn, again, for example, much more business professional oriented, where Facebook and Instagram, you can keep it a little bit more light and fun. On X, you have to have those shorter little tweets, so they each have their own little personality. The next slide, the next thing we want you to consider are your listing and review sites. 84% of customers are more likely to take action based on recommendations. So it's really important to have these things. So at the very least, you want to claim your Google business listing. You can see ours here. So this is something Katrine talked about a lot. We could also recommend that you claim your Yelp page and any other things that might be important to your specific industry. You want to check on yourself, make sure all your information is correct and up to date, and really make sure that you respond to every review, particularly negative reviews. Don't just ignore them, they're out there. Respond, say you're sorry, what you can do to resolve it. All right, next slide, 30. We're going to talk a little bit about content. Content is what people search for, consume, and also share with other people online. And it can really help with SEO, search engine optimization for your organization. So that's the process of tweaking your content to improve your rankings, get up higher in organic or non-paid searches. And that results in free traffic to your website. It doesn't need to be complicated, but at its core, it's about delivering relevant and meaningful content to the people you're trying to reach. So simple way to think about it is to produce fresh, relevant content that aligns what your audience is looking for. And we highly recommend a blog. And when we say a blog, we don't mean like a travel blog of your vacation this summer. We mean little articles that you put on your website in a section called blog or news that give important information about your products, your industry, that kind of thing. That keeps your website fresh so that when Google and other search engines go crawling for information, they see that, oh, your website wasn't just created 3 years ago and hasn't changed a thing since. It has new information that brings you up higher in the search rankings. So next, we'll go back to our agenda, and Katrine is going to talk to us about kind of how all these different things work together.
So the problem here is that if you're not on top of mind, people will forget your business, and that will of course cause you to lose money. So you can keep your business top of mind and encourage new and repeat business by engaging with your current customers. So we actually have something we call engagement marketing, and we have this engagement marketing cycle which starts with your shop, and you are making sure that the customers you have, that you are providing, of course, a good wow experience, because now you have people and customers that are happy. So that is your first step, of course. The next thing is to stay in touch with them, and you do that by sending out email and getting engaged with them on social media, just like Dixie described. The next thing is that when you get them to stay in touch and get them engaged, they are coming back. So now you have this circle here on the clients you already have. But what's happening here, if you do some of this on social media, you are driving social media visibility, and that part is going to increase your exposure. And so if you are active on social media or write really good content in emails, people that are already using your content or your services, they are going to share that on their social media, or forwarding an email, or sending them to your website. And doing that, you now reach new prospects. So this is how the circle goes. You are keeping their current clients really happy, and you are engaging them in a way that actually people can see online, and that is going to drive visibility and going to get you new clients. So the idea here is, if we can do, we talked about a lot of things in here, and with Constant Contact, you can actually do all of this in one place. Of course, you do email and email marketing. You also have social media and social media management. So instead of you having to go to the different platforms, you can do all of this within Constant Contact, and even time when you're going to post on social media. Constant Contact has also services to help with logos and e-commerce. So there are a lot of things within the Constant Contact family that can be done. So if you want to give this a try, follow this link or go to Constant Contact's website and take a look and see everything that they can help with. I have a little code here. So if you go in and follow that, either you do the code or scan this, you can have a 30-day free test account, and where you can go in and usually you start with setting up your email marketing, and then you continue. You get help with a free branded email template, and we can help you import the email contacts you already have. So want to get started, just use the QR code or link for a 30-day money-back deal.
Excellent. And when we come back next month, like I said, we're going to talk more in depth about social media. This will be sort of step 2 in our boot camp for small business. So the whole 30 minutes will be devoted to that. And we're going to talk more about like which channels you should pick for your business, how to grow your followers. And we're going to talk a lot about hashtags and how to use those effectively. So we'll hope you'll join us for that.